Bob the Stickman finally moved into a new apartment. Not because he wanted peace, but because the previous landlord wanted rent. He is poor. This new place was suspiciously cheap. The broker said only one previous tenant mysteriously disappeared. Huh, that's like a 4-star safety rating. At night, exactly at 3:03 a.m., Bob heard tap, tap, tap. He woke up, looked around, nothing. He went back to sleep. Next morning, Bob brushed his teeth and noticed his reflection was brushing faster than him. Bob stopped, reflection didn't. Bob be like, "Nope, I am not paid enough for this." He found a sticky note on the fridge written, "Stop snoring," from the thing living inside your walls. Bob laughed, until he realized he lives alone and he doesn't even own sticky notes. Scary. That night, scratch, scratch. Bob gently tapped the wall tapped back. Bob, frightened. Next, Bob made Maggie at 2 a.m. But that disappeared suddenly. The Maggie was gone. Hungry Bob. On the counter was another note. "Too much salt, bro." Creepy. Bobby like, "That's it? Ghosts now doing food reviews?" At 3:03 a.m. again, Bob saw a shadowy stick figure standing behind. Tall, thin, smiling like he knows his age. Bob said, "Hello?" Shadow, "Hey, I'm Steve." Bob asked Steve, "So are you here to kill me?" Steve said, No, I just live here." Bob said, "You live inside the wall?" Steve, "Rent is expensive outside, so yes." He's been living there since 1777. Steve just smiled wider. Later that night, Bob opened the mirror cabinet. Inside was another mirror. Inside that mirror was Bob, but he was waving, but Bob wasn't. At 3:03 a.m., Bob accidentally looked under the bed. There was another Bob, whispering, "But how?" Now, Steve was closer. Next day, Bob set 2 plates. Steve came out of the wall like it's a metro door. They ate together. Steve doesn't eat, but he judges. Soon after, Bob found an old photo in a drawer. It showed the previous tenant, standing next to Bob. But Bob have never met this guy. Steve said that tenant said the same thing. Bob tried to leave, but the front door led back into the bedroom. At 3:03 a.m., Bob saw Steve brushing his teeth in the mirror, but Bob was behind him, smiling. Steve turned around slowly and said, "Oh good, the next one is here." Wait, was Bob the thing in the walls this whole time? Moral: if the rent is cheap, you are the payment. Subscribe if you want to see Bob again.